Hello, 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 friends. Nicholas here with Divo TED Talks, Devoted Talks, where we take ancient wisdom and practices through a modern lens and experience to help you and those you love end suffering in your lives in the greater world. And I just taught an amazing hot yoga class. It's been a long day. It's been great. It was an early day, but man, there were so many magical things that came up in the class, and the one that kind of stuck with me was this thought about how our mind often likes simplistic, very easy to catch and understand things. And while that is good for selling things, that isn't necessarily good for us as a whole. Like, for instance, you know, in magazines or content online, they're like 10 things about whatever. But like, how do you distill a dynamic system into 5 or 10 things? I try to do that with yoga all the time, and it's so ephemeral and so situational that it becomes very challenging to do that. And so while we like those 5 simple things or the tens list or, hey, take this quiz and figure out blah, blah, blah about you, and those were cute and those were in the magazines, but they were very 90s, late 90s and early 2000s. And in class, I equated it to my clients who come to me who are like, I don't like the way water tastes. And my response to them, everybody laughed, was, well, I don't know what to tell you because you need to figure that out because your body doesn't care. And to be honest, your mind and your life and your well-being don't care that it's easier to get the list and get the 5 things or the 3 things or the 10 things than learning all of it and really integrating it, right? So Divo stands for detoxification, integration, vitalization, and optimization. All right. And so the integration part is very important, but the integration part is like planting seeds. You get the new nuggets of knowledge and you put them under the soil, and then you tend to them by either living it or at least creating an environment that is conducive to the germination and growth and support of that new thing in your life. Optimization is then once it's sprouted and it's grown, you then manicure it or garden it. I guess I should really say landscape. What's it? You had the people who come and work on your landscape, whatever. Anyway, you had the people who tend to the plant once it's already grown so that it looks the best and grows the best and has all of the things it needs, right? Vitalization and optimization can kind of work in tandem, but vitalization is the nourishing aspect of it, and the optimization is the pruning and the trimming and the polishing of it. And so integration is so important, and integration isn't going to go after those watered down, diminutive things like lists, right? And I'm not saying that you can't learn that way. I like to learn in lists, but I like them to be, broken down in ways that are logical. And, I say that tongue in cheek because logical is really based on the person and or the interpreter. And so what am I trying to say? I don't know, except that just because it's easy and it's the preferred method doesn't mean it's the best for you. Just like I want my water to taste good. Well, honestly, your body don't care. It needs water to function. And you can get the water from the food you eat, but the amount of food you would need to eat to get the amount of water you need is not comparable, right? You can't really eat that much iceberg lettuce and be okay. Probably not a good digestive experience, and I'm talking about your bowel movements, friends. That's what I'm talking about. But just because it is easier to sell and easier to convey doesn't mean that it's the right way, right? We need things integrated into us so that we can act them out, live them out, experience them, and then fully embody them. And so consumers of knowledge, I'm so guilty of this. I'm such a voracious consumer of knowledge. I have so many books that I haven't even opened, and I keep intending to, and I haven't yet. And then I'm like, well, I need to get to this part and then I'll do it. And then I need to get to this part and I'll do it. And you know what? You can keep making those reasons and they can all be valid and they can all be in succession. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't make the time, there won't be time. Just like if you don't drink the water, you won't get the water. And just like if you just keep things in cute little lists and social media informatics, then you're not going to have the same life experience, life embodiment, life understanding. So what do you do with that? One, you do the Divo method. You detox of all the things that are not serving you or have fully served their purpose, getting rid of them. You then integrate new knowledge and new ways of being or doing things, planting the seeds. Vitalization is tending to those newly planted seeds and nuggets. And then optimization is then refining and trimming and making the branches more functional so that they don't become too weighty and heavy and blow over or fall apart, or aesthetically get them looking the way you want them to look, right? I love the way jade plants look, but you can make them grow certain ways. You can take vines and you can shape them in certain ways. You can design them. You just have to work with the natural tendencies of the plant as you do it. And just like us, we have natural inclinations and tendencies, and we would do better and serve ourselves more fully to work with our natural tendencies than against them. I think in the 2000s, we were fed this stuff about having to beat ourselves, and or you're feeding to wolves, and which wolves are you feeding, and I like that, and it's a cool framework, but it can't be the only framework because it leaves you in this good and bad, good and evil without any gray. Some people exist in the gray. In fact, the extremes are the minority. Black and white are the minority. North and south, the poles are the minority. There's a whole lot in between them on the spectrum, right? Most often it's a bell curve, and the majority are dead in the middle with an array out to the side, on either side, in either direction. And so, if that's the case, we should be finding our place on the scale and living deeply into that so that the scale is fully played out instead of trying to be or do something in an idealistic or realistic way that isn't truly us, right? And so I think the greatest spectrum that we live on is idealism in the future and realism living in the past, when actualism is the bell curve in the center. And what are you actually? In the now, what are you actually? What are you actually doing? What actually happened? What actuality has occurred? Not what we think is going to happen based on past experience, and not what we want to happen in the future because of desire, but what happened, what is happening. One of my favorite endings in the Spanish language is ando, right? The doing. You're in the middle of doing something, right? Practicando, practicing, right? Ando, ando, ando. What are you doing now? What is the thing that you're inging? I'm making up words. Portmanteaus are a godsend. So I like Sanskrit. You can make words like Lego blocks, build them, and they have meaning just as much as words that are 10,000 times their age, right? And so, my friends, what I'm trying to get at is we tend to go towards things that we like rather than things that we need. And it's not saying that they can't be the same thing. It's just saying that we have a tendency to do that. And sometimes the easier thing to do wins out because we're so busy or so distracted that what else are we going to do? Are we going to take the time to learn? Are we going to take the time to work it out? Or are we going to do the easier thing in the moment? A lot of times the easier thing wins out, right? And it goes back to the necessary. It is necessary to consume water. We are predominantly water. Your body will start to fail if you don't give it water. And your body will fail quickly or more quickly if you don't give it fresh water and you give it water in the form of soda, water in the form of coffee, water in the form of things that have to be detoxified first. You know, some people get around it by using flavored water, but that's still an additive. And I know that there's a lot of additives in water. Filtering your water is a good thing. But some things are supposed to be in water, like minerals. So there is no absolute. There is no right or wrong. There is no extremes. There is this spectrum of gray that is begging to be lived into. And your shade, my friends, is the perfect shade. And when you can find that shade, my hope and my wish is that you will be well and be free.